Hey everybody, welcome back. Before we get going, I want you to think about something. Have you ever walked into a room and felt like you were already being judged before you ever said a single word? That's the kind of pressure we're unpacking this time. Transitions are tough. There's no doubt about it. They can feel like you're stepping into an unknown, like you're trading in your old identity for a new one, but that you're not quite sure about yet. Here's the thing though, there's ways around this. You can make steps less intimidating and a lot more empowering. So with that, let's get into round 50, the tactical transition tips. This time the topic is a confidence blueprint. For the close range group, those of you looking at your transition right away or you're less than a year out, sharpen your appearance. And for the medium range group, those of you eyeing your transition in about 5 years, practice rejection therapy. And for the long range group, those of you who are just starting your careers, you've got at least a decade before your transition, develop a signature skill.
When you transition out is try to model all of the good things, the discipline, the structure, that little bit of rigidity into your everyday life. And I think that that's a great way to make that transition happen, man.
Take the time to invest in yourself because it means everything. You know? That's what the difference is. The difference is not just to collect a check. It's to live 25 years, 30, 40 years after you retire and pay it forward that way.
Close range group. Sharpen your appearance. You're on the brink. You got a less than a year out. That clock is ticking. This is when everything feels heavier. Every choice feels critical. And one of the simplest but most effective moves you can make is to police yourself. Now, before you roll your eyes thinking, is that really going to make a difference? Let's break it down. How you present yourself is your new uniform. And just like our uniforms from these careers, your civilian appearance will do the talking for you. It's not just about looking good, even though that's important. It's about communicating professionalism, confidence, and an ability before you ever even open your mouth. Like I said before, think about the impression your uniform makes for you now. Then think of the civilian world. And your appearance is going to carry that same weight. A squared away look is going to tell people, hey, I'm serious about the opportunity, and I respect the process. However, here's the kicker. It's not just about how others perceive you. It's also about how you perceive yourself. When you look in the mirror and see somebody who's put together, it gives you that extra dose of confidence. So you're asking yourself, where do I start? Well, first, you got to evaluate your wardrobe. Start with a closet audit and then ask yourself, does what I have align with the image that I want to project? If not, you don't have to get rid of it, but just don't wear it. If you're entering into a corporate job, you got to invest in a suit. It doesn't have to be a break the bank designer, fancy one, but it also shouldn't be the cheapest one either. Get it tailored properly. You want to wear your suit, not it wear you. If you're stepping into some sort of tech job or creative space, you might be able to get away with business casual. But remember though, it's quality over quantity. Get yourself a few quality pieces and they'll carry you further than a closet full of outdated, ill-fitting clothes. And yes, outdated is as much of a problem as not fitting. It might fit, but it also screams yesterday. Next, you want to lose the Irish pennants. We've all had to deal with grooming and uniform standards in our careers. Don't ditch that just because you're moving into the civilian world. On the other hand, though, if you've been able to be a little loose these last few years, get yourself in line. Are your shoes polished? Is your facial hair squared away? Are you clean shaven? Does the company that you want to go work for Do they have a grooming policy? Find out and know it. But most importantly, comply with it before you're ever even hired. These small details send a really big message. They're showing that you care about the impression that you make, which is a trait that every employer is looking for. Last, get help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Ask your spouse, ask your girlfriend, ask a friend, someone who's already working for the company. Get their input on what's appropriate. Hell, talk to the clerk at the department store. Regardless of who or how, unless you're already dialed in putting together a complete package, get some help. Some common roadblocks that you might run into are obviously the most important, or the biggest one, is cost. Transitioning in itself can be expensive. I get it. And the idea of spending more money on clothes might not feel like a priority to you. But here's the good news. Looking the part doesn't have to cost a fortune. You can shop at outlet malls. You can shop online. You can start paying attention to sales. And guys, and this is a little bit sexist, but ask your wife, ask your girlfriend. They're going to know when the sales are going on. But remember that your appearance is an investment in your future. The other thing you're going to be thinking about is, man, is it going to be comfortable? And for a lot of us, we got lazy. We've been spoiled by, hey, the decision was made for us. I just have to wear a uniform each day. For some of the luckier ones, maybe it's been 511s or jeans. But I know many of us are probably thinking, man, suits are just uncomfortable. I'm willing to bet that your experience is probably based on a suit or shirt that didn't fit right. So spend a little money. More importantly, practice wearing this new kit. I guarantee every one of you has played around with wearing your plate carriers, messing around with your gear placement, adjusting everything on your utility belt. And I know you're saying, but that was cool. Trust me though, the more you wear your civilian clothes, the more comfortable and natural you're going to look in them. Maybe you're thinking, man, does anybody really care? The answer is yes. Whether you're going for a job interview, whether you're going to attend a networking event, maybe you're just going to meet somebody for coffee. How you present yourself sets the tone. People are going to notice your effort, but more importantly, they're going to notice if you take no effort or put very little effort into it. Here's a little tidbit. When you put some time and thought into your appearance, it's not just an external shift. It's an internal one as well. You're sending a message to yourself. Hey, I'm worth the effort. I believe in my ability to succeed. And that mindset shift is huge. It changes how you walk, how you talk, but more importantly, how you interact with people. Also, when you take the time to sharpen your appearance, you're setting a standard for yourself that carries over into other areas of your life. It's about the discipline and preparation and respect that you bring to the table. And these are all values that are second nature to all of us. Remember, it's not just about looking good. It's about signaling to the world and to yourself that you're ready to take on whatever challenges come in your way. Every detail, from how your clothes look to how your shoes are shined, tells your story before you ever say a word. You ever feel like your body just isn't keeping up the way it used to? We all know that life doesn't slow down, and sometimes the grind shows up in ways that we might not expect. Lower energy, focus that's a little off, maybe even motivation that isn't quite there. Human Performance TRT knows what it's like to want to get that edge back, and they're here to help you do it without the runaround. A veteran and first responder-owned company, they're not just your typical telehealth service that just hands out prescriptions. Human Performance takes a full view of your health. First, you hop on a video call with one of their expert providers who goes through your goals, your blood work, and any specific needs you've got. From there, they create a personalized plan that goes beyond just hormones. If you need support with mental health, they've got it. If you're looking to get serious about weight management, they can coach you through it. The best part, they keep it flexible. No locked-in subscriptions. As you progress, they're checking in, making adjustments, and keeping your health plan up to date. Because what works today might look different down the line. Everything they do is sent right to your door, hassle-free, so you can stay focused on the things that matter. And here's another benefit. If you're already on a hormone replacement program or have recent blood work, Human Performance makes it easy to transition. If your lab results are less than 6 months old, you could submit those directly. No need for new blood work. They'll review your current levels and build a customized plan based on where you're at now, so you don't have to start from scratch. It's just another way that Human Performance puts you first, meeting you where you're at on your health journey. Human Performance TRT is built around your success. This isn't a one-and-done approach. It's ongoing with real guidance because your health deserves more than just a quick fix. If you're ready to take the next step towards optimized health, check out Human Performance and see what a real personalized approach looks like. And for listeners of the Transition Drill podcast, use the promo code TDP for 10% off throughout the entire time you work with Human Performance. So head over to hptrt.com and remember to use the promo code TDP, that's Tom David Paul, for 10% off your program. Medium range group. Practice rejection therapy. You've got a little breathing room before your transition. Not a lot though. And that makes this the perfect time to start laying the groundwork for a confident, successful future. First, what's rejection therapy? Well, it's where you deliberately seek out situations where you might be told no. It's like exposure therapy for fear of rejection. Consider this your cold plunge therapy. The idea is to desensitize yourself to that discomfort of hearing no. And in doing so, build your resilience and your confidence. Over time, you'll find that reaction doesn't really sting as much. In fact, you might even start to see it as an opportunity to learn and grow. Now, I know you're thinking, why on earth would I want to put myself in a situation where I'm going to hear no? Stick with me on this one. There's magic in this process. Not hocus pocus magic, but actual building yourself up magic. Rejection therapy isn't about inviting failure. It's about reframing how you perceive failure. It's about turning rejection into a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. Rejection is a part of life. There's going to be times when the answer is no. And if you're not prepared for that, it can feel like a personal failure. But here's the thing. Rejection isn't about you as a person. It's often about timing, the circumstances, the factors, things that are completely beyond your control. And when you start to see rejection in this way, it loses its power to intimidate you. So then how do you do rejection therapy? Like you'll hear me say with most things, start small. Begin with low stakes situations. For example, the next time you go to a hotel, ask for an upgrade. Or if you're renting a car, ask for an upgrade. You're at a restaurant, ask for something that maybe isn't on the menu. Or ask for something that is maybe a combination of a couple things on the menu. The goal isn't to succeed every time. It's to get comfortable with the possibility of hearing no. Once you've built in some confidence and you're doing this more regularly, then you start taking on bigger tasks. Pitch a new project idea at work. Suggest a new way of doing a current task or assignments at your organization. Put in for a leadership role. All of these experiences will teach you something valuable. Whether the answer is no or yes, you should learn things about yourself. It's highly likely that you're going to feel embarrassed putting yourself out there. That's normal to feel apprehensive about rejection. But remember, the goal isn't to avoid no, it's to change how you react to it. This doesn't have to take a lot of time, especially when you're just starting out. Just take a few chances each day, but they, over time, can make a big difference. The other thing you want to do is you want to remember what you learned. Keep a journal of your attempts. What'd you ask for? And what was the response you got? Was it positive? How did you deliver what you were asking for? What were the factors that made them say yes? On the other hand, if it was negative, how could you deliver it better next time? Are there factors that could help you next time? Did you ask for the meal upgrade or change when it was close to closing time? Did you ask your boss for something and you already knew going in that they were having a bad day, or it was just in general a bad day? Just remember, a no is not always no just because you asked. Learn to identify patterns. Learn to identify what the responses were, positive or negative, and how were they impacted by your personal relationships or your interactions with these people. Were you able to present it in a way that was most positive to them? What are you bringing to the table and how you were asking? Start being able to identify those things that are likely going to get you a no, and then change what you can. Rejection therapy isn't about building a thicker skin. It's about building courage. It's about developing the confidence to take risks and ask for what you want and just put yourself out there. These are skills that are going to serve you not just in your transition, but in your career now. But at your transition, employers are going to value you who are somebody who's persistent, resilient, and afraid to be an advocate for themselves. If you're wondering how this is going to benefit your career today, it doesn't just prepare you for your transition. Rejection therapy makes you stronger, makes you confident, makes you overall just a better person. It teaches you that rejection isn't the end of the road. It's simply a detour that in no way around it could actually lead to a better opportunity. But by practicing this today, you're enhancing your effectiveness for your organization now, regardless of how it's also going to benefit you at your transition. Think about it. Every time you put yourself out there and you take a risk, you're contributing new ideas, you're advocating for resources, or you're pushing innovations that could benefit your team, your organization, everybody around you. That kind of proactive behavior doesn't go unnoticed. It builds your reputation as someone who's unafraid to step up and take initiative. You can even improve the team dynamics of your peers. As you grow more comfortable with hearing and processing feedback, both positive and negative, what you're doing is you're setting an example for those around you. You create or help create a culture where ideas can be shared without people worrying about being criticized or rejection. That not only elevates your personal growth, but it also fosters an environment where those around you feel like they're in a space of trust and collaboration, and hopefully pushes your organization forward. These moments can define your career just as much as they can define your transition. By facing rejection head on, you develop the resilience to keep pushing forward, which we're all looking for, makes us a valuable asset to the next organization we're hoping to transition to. This episode is brought to you by Triton Coffee, a veteran-owned brand and lifestyle. And while they're masters of cold brew, Triton's beans are roasted to create a flavor that shines whether you drink it hot or cold. There's no bitterness, there's no burnt taste, it's just good tasting coffee. Their coffees taste amazing hot, which is how I prefer it, while still designed to excel as a cold brew. But Triton Coffee is more than just great taste. Triton supports your wellness journey, featuring ingredients like organic mushrooms, adaptogens, and nootropics. It's made for those who enjoy good coffee and value quality and health. So if you're looking for a coffee that meets you wherever your day takes you, hot or cold, you need to check out Triton Coffee. I know I said I prefer hot coffee, but here's a tip from me. Mix their instant cold brew with your favorite protein for a protein coffee drink that's great cold. You can thank me later. I know there's a lot of coffee options out there, but give Triton a try. I know you'll enjoy it as much as I do. Head over to TridentCoffee.com and use the promo code TDP15 for 15% off your order. That's TDP15 for 15% off your order. Long range group. Develop a signature skill. in theory, your transition is way off, far on to the horizon. So you've got some time to really kind of get good at that thing, whatever that thing is. A signature skill is more than just something you're good at. It's your professional calling card. It's that thing that sets you apart, makes people take notice, and gives you a competitive edge. We are in a world now where resumes can start to all look alike. So having that signature skill makes you more memorable. It shows employers that you're bringing something unique to the table. But beyond that, the process of developing a skill teaches you discipline, focus, how to strive for mastery. All of these traits are going to serve you, again, not just in your career now, but when you transition out. So how do you choose that signature skill? Well, what you first got to do is figure out what are your strengths and interests. What do you love to do? What are you naturally good at? What excites you about your job today? Your signature skill should align with your interest and your strengths, because where you'll find the motivation to excel comes from something that you truly enjoy doing. It doesn't have to be a work-specific skill, though. A skill that has use today and that you can grow for tomorrow is ultimately best. Learn your industry to identify a skill that's going to have the most benefit to you on both ends, personal growth and professional growth. Look where your industry is headed, but also consider what you want to do when you leave our current professions. Learn what skills are in high demand right now, but more importantly, what skills are going to likely remain or grow in demand tomorrow that you can leverage to your benefit. For example, every time we turn around, we're hearing about another active shooter. So consider areas like crisis management. Large-scale events are not going away. And private companies, as well as first responder agencies, all have to deal with these events. Yes, active shooter events are often or generally handled by law enforcement. But you got to think of it this way. If that event is occurring at a private entity, those companies where the event occurs have to deal and handle with that event also. So it's something that you can leverage today and tomorrow. The goal is to choose a skill that will keep you relevant. Your signature skill, though, should be specific. Instead of something like, I'm great at communication, refine it to, I'm good at doing presentations that elicit reaction and response. Something way over the top like that. Or let me boil it down to something a little more basic. You can say, I'm good at shooting compared to I'm an expert in CQB. Be the expert, even without a discipline that seems, or within a discipline that seems specialized. You want to build your signature skill by first always learning and never stop learning. Just because you're an expert today doesn't mean you're going to be an expert tomorrow. Take courses, attend workshops, get certifications, but dedicate time each week to growing your knowledge and refining your abilities. Learning should be a continued commitment. Next, you want to practice, and practice as much as you can. Find ways to always and regularly apply your skills. Seek out projects at work where you can put those skills to the test. Ask for additional responsibility. Seek feedback when you do perform these tasks from your mentors, from your peers, from your supervisors, because honest input is what's going to be able to make you improve and identify areas where you need to get better. The other thing, as usual, document your experience. Whether it's a collection of completed projects, a record of your achievements and your awards, even attaboys from your peers or supervisors. Having tangible proof of your skill makes it easier to showcase that skill during your transition. Developing a signature skill, though, doesn't just prepare you for your transition. It enhances your current career in a lot of other ways. As you start to build this expertise, you'll become the go-to person for whatever it is by your organization. This elevates your status within your organization, and it makes you to a degree indispensable to your organization, thus opening up other opportunities potentially. Your signature skill is going to open up other doors, whether it's leading to mentoring your teammates, or maybe they start calling on you not just to present locally. Maybe they ask you to present at bigger meetings or conferences, or being known for something exceptional creates opportunities that you haven't even thought about or may not even come your way if you didn't develop this skill. And I've talked a lot about work-related skills, but your signature skill doesn't necessarily have to be directly tied to your current job. In fact, non-work-related skills can be just as impactful, if not more so. Skills like photography, woodworking, or even playing an instrument. They showcase your dedication and your discipline. Imagine, though, like you're in an interview, and let's just use photography for an example. You're doing it as a hobby, but it got featured on the cover of a magazine. That's going to be something that you're going to want to promote about yourself. Now, I would say make sure that it actually happens, but that's going to spark conversations. Some other skills that you can do outside of work are public speaking, self-defense, big one today, peer support. But whatever you do, make it work for you as well as work for your organization. Another benefit of developing non-work or outside skills is they'll put you in circles that you might not have encountered otherwise. And being in these circles can lead you to meeting somebody who is either connected to your dream job or introduces you to somebody who can be a mentor that provides guidance not only for your career now, but maybe for your transition also. And most importantly, when you bring up your skills in conversation, it adds depth to your profile. It shows that you're a well-rounded individual. You bring more to the table than just a technical expertise. And let's face it, people love to hear about unique skills and hobbies. I guarantee if you become an expert in mountain climbing, someone will want to hear the stories of the mountains that you've climbed. Think of those people we've all talked to, and they've done something unusual, and we find ourselves enthralled. They're very interesting to listen to their stories. They draw us in. So just don't wait until your transition comes to develop this signature skill. Work on it today. So to close this out, close range group. Sharpen your appearance. How you look is the first page of the story you're telling about yourself. Make sure it's one you're proud of. Medium range group. Practice rejection therapy. Every no is a step closer to a yes, and with each step, you're building your confidence. And long range group. Develop a signature skill. Mastering something unique builds confidence and showcases your dedication. As always, thank you for listening or watching this episode. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to reach out, send me an email. I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to follow the podcast, leave me a rating, and share it with anybody you think would benefit or enjoy it. And until next time, remember, as we approach our transition, confidence is our greatest ally in success, but it's also our fiercest villain in failure.